LEGO's Red Dragon's Tale was one of my most anticipated sets when it came out, because I was imagining this world of Dungeons and Dragons opening up in the LEGO universe. I already started building maps for Dungeons and Dragons with LEGO beforehand, but I was still excited for some official stuff. But I didn't really get to play the adventure that came with it. I don't know if you know that, but the set comes with a pre-made Dungeons & Dragons adventure. It's either playable in the official Dungeons & Dragons 5e rules or with their own, let's say, beginner-friendly version of Dungeons & Dragons, where you don't have to roll that much and it's more of a free style play, I guess. So I was really excited to get an opportunity to play that adventure recently. The kids of the people I play with in my regular Dungeons & Dragons group were so excited to learn what their parents were doing all these weekends, and so we decided on doing an adventure with them. And what best place to start Dungeons & Dragons with than with a LEGO set that's made for kids and adults alike, I guess. Although the set is probably 18+, so I don't know about that. But at least from a playable side, I read the adventure and it's very kids-friendly. You don't need to get into fights, although you can all the time. There's a bunch of rewards around every corner. There's a lot to discover. So it's a really quick and easy way to get people into Dungeons & Dragons, I feel. But what I immediately noticed is the set is not to scale if you're thinking of regular Dungeons & Dragons maps. So not a lot of space to fit 4 characters into this bedroom, for example. I'm not going to spoil any of the adventure, but I might spoil some of the locations in this video. So if you are the player and not the dungeon master for a group that's going to play this adventure, you might want to hold out to not get spoiled. I was really stressing before running this adventure, more than with any other group I've run in the past. Because if it's the first time a kid is trying out Dungeons & Dragons, and I, as the dungeon master, suck, or the adventure sucks for them, the experience sucks for them, they might not try it ever again. So that was a lot of stress put on my shoulders to really get this right. As I was playing with the children and their parents, I wanted to cross over the experience between our regular sessions, where we have my built-out map system for each of our fights, as well as incorporate the LEGO sets that have a lot of hidden gems, hidden things you can discover that are great for the kids, and also help visualize a scene for players that are used to theater of the mind as kids, but maybe not that shared experience of having the same stage set. So what I first did was break out the places where encounters could take place for the whole adventure. I was planning to run this as a one-shot, in the literal sense of having one afternoon to run this, because I was expecting the kids to maybe get through 3 hours. So I was really trying to tighten this storytelling into something that can be run very quickly. I also watched the LEGO Promotion one-shot, where they ran through the whole adventure with some experienced players. But I was expecting my players to be way slower, because of course they did a live stream and it was, I think, unedited, or at least edited on tape, so not like parts taken out of. But still, these were grown-ups and they were used to playing Dungeons & Dragons, at least most of them. So I was expecting my players to go slower. Spoiler, they went a lot slower. I think we got 5 hours clocked in at the end, and the kids stuck through it way better than the parents, I guess. And they were on the edges of their seat, literally, like sitting with their legs pulled up when the final fight happened, and it was like a blast, I think, for everybody. They were so excited that they really wanted to do this again. So we just last week did another adventure. So first thing I did was map out all the battles, as I said, and really roughly tried to lay out the rooms with my modular system. So for you guys that are new to the channel, I've built these modular tiles that you can really easily put together to form bigger maps. I've done extensive videos on this topic, on how to build them and the different styles and so on. So I'll not get into this in this video. Please check out the other videos if you want to start building your Dungeons & Dragons maps with LEGO. Great experience, can only recommend. But yeah, I used my tiles to really roughly lay out the rooms. If you're familiar with the set, you know that it has multiple locations, indoor and outdoor dungeons, nature, some tavern rooms. So there is a great variety. I didn't try to match exact sizes, like 1 stud to 5 feet or something like that. I tried to match the shape of the room, and then I put in all the minifigures, all the extras that come with the set, to see how they would fit in the scene, because the set is very packed. The dungeon is full of stuff, loot, monsters, treasure, whatever you can imagine, as a LEGO set should be. But for a map where the players want to navigate through it and really have that regular Dungeons & Dragons fighting experience, you need a little more spaced out scenes. I tried to match the rooms to my tile types. So I have these ruined floors, these outdoor dungeon tiles, more regular dungeon tiles, and so on. So I tried to match the vibe of the LEGO set as much as I could to the tiles, to have a base that really fit the same aesthetic. So the way I presented it to the players was that I always put the regular set out first. You can take it apart in these modular stages, and that's exactly how I presented it. So I would put out for example, when they arrived, I would put out the whole tavern, but once they entered it and wanted to see the interior, I would take the interior they haven't yet explored away, turn it around to show them the interior. And only once a fight broke loose, I put out the big map, to not get them too much thinking tactical about a space before a fight would break out. Once these layouts were complete and I had the rough edges of the room, I would then dress them up. I done a video for props and scatter before, but the way I did it here was also try to match colors. For example, there is a part in the dungeon where there is some overgrow and some colorful plants that cover some hidden treasure. And I try to match this with colorful leaf elements from other LEGO sets, like the Dreams series and LEGO Harry Potter set that I both reviewed on this channel as well. Of course, they don't match exactly the flower type and so on, but I think they bring across the vibe and the scene, and it's more like zooming in, where the LEGO set is the zoomed out version where you have the eagle's eye, the bird view onto a scene, and then we zoom in and we have the map that's a more detailed and more reduced look of what they've seen in the LEGO set. I also placed elements from the original set into this scene. So if there were monsters or NPCs, I would place them in the map as well. But also I tried to recreate the things like treasures in there as well. Sometimes I took them right off the set. Sometimes I would dress them up from other sets if I had things that approximated it. And I put them into the scene roughly where they would be in the regular LEGO set, to make it challenging to reach them as intended in the adventure as well. The thing I enjoyed most, I guess, was building the dungeon. In my regular campaign, I've not yet delved too much into dungeons. We've been in the city, we've been outdoors in the Feywild, but we haven't really gone underground a lot. So I really loved building these dungeons out, and having the inspiration of the original sets made the map building process very fast, because I had something to go off. I don't know how I would incorporate that into our regular sessions where I don't have something to go off, but it was something that made it really enjoyable to build these maps out. If you're looking at the dungeon, it has multiple floors, and they have a roughly similar layout. If you take the main dungeon, take away the stairs, take away one of the sides, you have the L shape of the other dungeon. And so I mostly prepared the big dungeon and then took something away for the smaller one and just dressed it up so I didn't build both maps because, you know, I don't have unlimited amounts of these, although it looks, although it might look sometimes like I do, there is still a limit to the madness. I noticed the same thing from the kids as I did with my adult players. Bringing on Lego and building out these maps really helped them to come up with ideas for the fight that were in a shared universe, in a shared scene, while still leaving a lot of space for creativity. Also, the same pitfalls occurred, so they would always expect things that show up in the scene to actually be there and be usable for an encounter. I was very proud of them that they didn't jump into every fight head first or sword first, but tried to negotiate, tried to really talk their way through some situations or puzzle their ways through situations, which was in contrast to our regular sessions where there's a lot of fighting because fighting is fun. It was a nice twist, let's say, to play in that setting. And I was really proud of the kids to be as attentive and sticking through that as much as they did, being highly focused and into the story. So I think it's a great beginner adventure. If it's working for young kids, it will work for other players as well, getting into the game. So I highly recommend checking out the adventure. You don't need the Lego set for it. I think you can find a PDF online. I don't think it's paywalled. Anyways, if you can get your hands on the adventure and you don't want to afford the whole set, the adventure is still playable and it's a lot of fun. So I highly recommend you checking that out if you can get your hands on the adventure. I've been doing a lot less videos in the past couple of months because summer and I didn't want to be inside too much editing videos or shooting videos even. But now that summer is over, you can expect more videos to come out. So subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out the other videos if you're new here, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.